In this video, we're going to talk about finger drumming versus acoustic drumming. Which one is better? What are the pros and cons of each? Hi, my name is Dragon from Dragon Finger Drums, and I'm here to teach you how to play finger drums like a real drummer. If you want to learn the secrets to realistic drumming on the pads, make sure you don't miss out on my free finger drumming starter course. You can get it by clicking the link in the video description or the pinned comment down below. So let's jump right in. Finger drumming versus acoustic drumming. So first of all, what is finger drumming? Well, basically, finger drumming is the art of playing drums with your fingers on a pad controller. These controllers are designed for electronic musicians and producers who want to make music and play instruments in different ways. Basically, the pads can be programmed to play any sound. You know, you could put a melodic sample on there, guitar, piano, or drums. So finger drumming, the way that I teach it, is basically we just put a full drum kit onto these pads. You're only playing drum sounds, and we emulate the feel and the sound of acoustic drumming on a drum kit with just our fingers on the pads electronically. So I've been playing acoustic drums since I was 14 years old, so over 15 years now. And I've been playing finger drums for about 9 years now. So I was playing acoustic drums for 5 years before I discovered finger drumming. And I discovered finger drumming and I gradually made that transition from playing the drum kit onto playing the pads. And I kind of had to figure things out as I went, figure out the best ways to play the acoustic drum parts that I was so used to playing on the pads with just my fingers. So it was kind of a lengthy transition because I had to figure it all out on my own with just trial and error. But I do have that experience. I have the background of acoustic drumming. I got really good at playing acoustic drums for years before I even touched finger drumming. So I've been in both worlds. I've been just totally an acoustic drummer, and I've been, totally at this point, I'm completely just a finger drummer. I haven't played acoustic drums in quite a while because I don't have a drum kit anymore. And that kind of segues into the next point. When we talk about finger drumming, it's way more accessible than acoustic drumming, right? So, if you want to get into playing the drum kit, playing an acoustic drum set, you need to buy one. They're really expensive. If you want just the cheapest drum kit that you can buy, you're spending hundreds of dollars, at least $400 for like a cheap, low quality drum kit. If you want a good quality drum kit, you're spending $800, maybe up to $2,000 even for a really nice sounding drum kit. And then there's ongoing costs. You have to constantly replace your drumsticks, the heads of the drums, your cymbals. So yearly you're paying hundreds of dollars just to keep up with having a good quality drum kit. Drums are also obviously very big. They take up a ton of space and they're extremely loud. So if you want to play drums, if you want to play drum kit and you live in an apartment or you live with your family or you live in any situation where you can't make a ton of noise because of neighbors, you basically just can't. You can't play drums. And so I was very lucky when I was a kid that my family, allowed me to have a drum kit, and they tolerated listening to me practice for, many years. And so I was lucky enough to be able to get into playing drums. But, if I didn't have a family that allowed me to play drums, I wouldn't have been able to play. So finger drumming is super accessible. That's the really cool thing about it. So compared to acoustic drums, acoustic drums, expensive, loud, and huge. Finger drumming has none of those problems. So finger drumming is very affordable. To get one of these controllers, this is the Machine Micro MK3. I talk about the best finger drumming pad controller in my other video, which I'll link down in the video description. But this is my favorite pad controller that I've ever used. It's, throughout all my extensive years of playing, to me it feels like basically the top of the line in terms of the quality of the pads, and I can get, the very best possible feel and play out of those pads. And it's only, I think, $270 US for one of these. So compared to the price of a really high quality drum kit, that's incredible. That's very affordable. So it's much more affordable. Obviously, it's extremely portable. They make bigger pad controllers. You can get the full size machine. But if you just need pads, which is all I need, then this is all you would ever need. So the footprint is tiny. You can fit it into a backpack. It's really easy to carry around. And then finally, probably the biggest factor is that it's quiet. Drums, they just can't be quiet. But finger drumming, you can just put on headphones and, basically no one can hear anything, which is amazing. That's a huge benefit. And now some people might ask, what about electronic drum kits, right? Those have been getting more popular in recent years. If you go into a Guitar Center or a big box music store, you'll see those electronic drum kits. They have the same shape and size as a normal drum kit, but they have these, electronic big pads that are replacing the drums and the cymbals, and you still hit them with sticks, right? So they solve the noise problem, right? They're quiet. However, they don't solve the size problem. They're still huge, and they don't really solve the cost problem. They're still very expensive, and honestly, if you ask pretty much any acoustic drummer, it's just way better to just play on an acoustic kit. The feeling of those electronic kits, it just never really feels quite right if you play acoustic drums. If you're a drummer playing with sticks on a kit, it just never really feels right to play on an electronic kit. It's fine for practice, but I've never, even the most expensive ones that I've sat down to play, have never really hit the spot in terms of that feel that you get out of drums. And that's another reason why I really like finger drumming, because it's not an apples to apples comparison with playing a drum kit. When you're used to playing a drum kit and then you sit down at those electronic drums, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right. I'm missing that feel that I normally get. But with finger drums, it's a different control surface. It's a totally different physical instrument. So even though it sounds still like drums and you're emulating the sound and the feel of drums, your actual playing experience is very different. So playing with sticks on a drum kit and playing with fingers on the pads, they're very different experiences, even though they're both drumming. And so it's unique. It's enjoyable for its own merit, basically, in its own way. And so that's another pro of finger drumming that kind of sets it apart and makes it unique and interesting, and is another reason why someone might want to get into finger drumming. So a great analogy that I like to use to sort of talk about finger drumming versus acoustic drumming is the analogy of the keyboard to the piano, right? So back in the day, before keyboards were invented, if you wanted to learn to play the keys, you had to get a piano. Again, pianos, very expensive, thousands of dollars, very, very big, and loud. Not as loud as a drum kit, but still they make noise. If you live with family or people who don't want to listen to you practice, there's just no options, So it has all those same problems that a big acoustic drum kit has. And then, several decades ago, somebody invented the keyboard, right? The portable version. It's electronic, and all of a sudden, it's affordable. You can spend maybe just a couple $100s to get a keyboard. It's portable. It's not huge and heavy, and you don't have to have multiple people move it. You can pick it up by yourself, bring it to your house, and it's quiet. You can plug in headphones. You can plug it into a speaker if you want. You have those options. So that solved all those problems for the piano. And what that did by solving those problems is just makes the world of keys more accessible. So now there are millions more people all over the world who would never be able to play piano before, and now because of the keyboard they can. So it made the world of keys more accessible to lots of people. Right now you can hop on Amazon and you can get a keyboard for like $50 and you can start learning how to play keys. I think that's awesome. That's super cool. And so finger drumming is the same with acoustic drums. Acoustic drums are right now the same thing as a piano, big, loud, expensive. And the finger drumming is none of those. It's portable, it's accessible, it's quiet, it's cheap. So it's going to do the same thing in the near future, I believe. It's going to make drumming accessible to millions more people all over the world who would never be able to play drums without the finger drums. They would need to buy an acoustic drum kit. And there's just so many people all over the world who can't do that right now. And so I think it's going to be a huge, huge revolution in the music industry in the near future. So now we get to the final point of the video, which is which one is better, finger drumming or acoustic drumming? And one thing I want to address is a lot of people, probably my most popular or common negative comment that I have gotten over my years of sharing my finger drumming online is from people who are like, oh, this isn't real drumming. This isn't real drums. You need to play real drums. Do it on the real thing, etc. There's always some variation of that, right? And I don't let that get me down. It doesn't bother me because to me, these people are missing the point. Music is not about the real or the right thing. It's not about being the best or having the most skill. It has nothing to do with that. Music is about having fun, period. That's it. Music is just about having fun. That's all that matters. If you're having a good time, that's nothing else matters, you know? So it's like, when you're like, oh, you need to play the real thing, it's like, but I'm having fun, you know, I'm enjoying the finger drumming, right? I don't need to prove myself. There's no need to prove that I'm legit, you know? There's like, no one should ever feel pressured to do that, you know? So that's kind of my response to that. And so when you compare finger drumming to acoustic drumming, my intention in sharing and teaching finger drumming is not to, replace acoustic drumming. I don't want to make acoustic drumming go away and be like, oh, look, this is the new thing. This is way cooler. It's better. It's superior. All acoustic drumming is lame. That's not the point. You know, to me, this is just a new, additional, fun way to play music, to play drums. And for me, that's what I'm passionate about. I love playing music. It's really fun for me. That's the way that I teach. I try to teach in a way that encourages play, fun, creativity, you know, not so much just by the books, the rules. And so it's kind of that's kind of the popular mindset for a lot of musicians, and I don't really understand why. It's kind of elitist. I don't get it. It's very prevalent all over the whole music world of people kind of being like, oh, this isn't real, this isn't legit, this isn't good, oh, you're not playing it the right way or the original way, or blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares, man? Like, for me, music is just about fun. And if you can have a new and exciting way to have fun with playing music, if you can play an instrument that you would never be able to play otherwise, that's awesome. That's just purely positive, you know? So when it comes down to which is better, finger drumming or acoustic drumming, neither of them are better. They both have pros and cons depending on what you want to do, right? If you want easy, accessible, portable, quiet, just a fun way to play drums, go for finger drumming. If you want the big, loud, you know, expensive world of acoustic drumming, if you really love that full body experience of playing acoustic drums, and if you have the capacity to actually have an acoustic drum kit, then go for acoustic drumming. Or learn both. You know, you can have both. Like, it's really not like, which one should I do? You can do both, or if only one suits you, you can just do one or the other. So ultimately, it literally just comes down to, you know, what do you want to do? What works for you? I wouldn't say that finger drumming is weaker than acoustic drumming either. A lot of people will think, oh, you can't play finger drums as well or as good as you could play acoustic drums. And sort of in a certain sense, the physical act of playing an acoustic drum kit, there's some motions and things that you can get out of hitting an acoustic drum that aren't really able to be replicated on an electronic playing surface. So that's true. You can't get 100% of the full expression from finger drumming, but you can get, I feel like, about 80% or more. You know, you can get enough to really, really expressively and creatively play drums and sound, you know, highly skilled, professional, advanced, you know. If you listen to some of my drumming videos, you know, I love that playing style, that advanced, you know, really expressive kind of playing style. And so you really can get that out of these pads. You know, there's a lot of versatility and a lot of space for creativity. So it's not a toy, it's not an inferior version of drumming. It's just a different way to play drums, you know? So that's kind of my perspective on this whole topic, finger drumming versus acoustic drumming. Which one is legit, which one is better? You know, there's no winner. It's more about just, what do you want to do? So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have a free finger drumming starter course. So if you do want to start learning finger drums, or if you already have a pad controller and you want to start learning how I play realistic drums on the pads, then go to the link in the video description or in the pinned comment down below and make sure you grab that free starter course so you can get started. And if you liked the video and you want to see more, make sure to hit subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, or you want to throw out your own opinion on this whole topic, make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll respond to you. I'll see you in the next one.